If you think betrayal always comes from enemies, you've never been used by your own child. My name is Linda. I'm 64 years old. I live in a quiet suburb outside Seattle. I used to think I raised a good man. I was wrong. My son Adam and his wife Chloe moved into my house temporarily 3 years ago. They had just sold their condo and were saving for something bigger. That's what they said. Temporary turned into permanent. At first, I didn't mind. I loved having my 4-year-old grandson Mason running through the halls again. His laughter filled spaces that had been silent since my husband passed away. But slowly, something shifted. Adam and Chloe started booking luxury trips: Miami, Cancun, Napa Valley, once even the Amalfi Coast. Every single time they left Mason with me, not asked, assumed. Mom, you love spending time with him anyway. Mom, daycare is too expensive for a full week. Mom, you're home all the time. Home all the time. That phrase started to sting. Yes, I was retired. Yes, I was home, but I wasn't their built-in nanny. The first few trips, I convinced myself it was fine. Families help each other. That's what we do. But the trips became more frequent, more extravagant. New luggage, designer sunglasses, Chloe posting beach photos with captions like finally relaxing. Relaxing. While I woke up at 6 a.m. to make Mason breakfast, while I chased a 4-year-old around the house, while I handled tantrums, bedtime battles, and endless questions, they'd come back glowing and sun-kissed. Thanks again, Mom. You're the best. And then they'd start planning the next trip. Then 3 months ago, everything changed. I collapsed in the kitchen, just like that. One moment I was cutting apples for Mason. The next, I was on the floor staring at the ceiling, unable to move my right leg. Stroke. Mild, they said. I was lucky. Lucky. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital, another 3 in rehab. When I came home, I wasn't the same. I was in a wheelchair. Temporary, the doctor said. Temporary. Funny how that word keeps showing up in my life. Adam cried at the hospital. Chloe held my hand. They promised things would be different. We'll take care of you now, Mom. For a moment, I believed them. For 2 weeks after I got home, they were attentive. Adam installed grab bars in the bathroom. Chloe cooked dinner. They even hired a part-time physical therapist. And then, on the 3rd week, I overheard them. They thought I was asleep. We already paid the deposit, Chloe whispered. It's non-refundable, Adam replied. Mom will manage. It's just 5 days. My stomach dropped. 5 days. Luxury ski resort in Aspen. 2 days after I received my wheelchair. They came into my room that evening with soft voices and careful smiles. Mom, we need to talk. I didn't say anything. I just looked at them. We've had this trip planned for months, Adam said. We can't cancel now. Chloe added, it'll actually be good for you and Mason. Bonding time. Bonding time. I looked down at my hands resting on the wheels. You're leaving him with me? Silence. It's only 5 days, Adam said, and you're getting stronger every day. Stronger. I couldn't even stand without help. They left 3 days later, left Mason's little suitcase by my bedroom door, kissed my forehead. Call if you need anything. Then they drove off in their SUV, skis strapped to the roof. I sat in the living room that evening, Mason playing with his toy trucks on the rug. My body ached. My arms were sore from pushing the wheelchair all day, and for the first time in my life, I felt used, not loved, not appreciated. Used. Mason looked up at me and smiled. Grandma, when I grow up, I'm going to take you to the beach. My throat tightened. Because my own son wouldn't even cancel a ski trip for me. That night, after Mason fell asleep, I wheeled myself into my bedroom. I stared at my phone for a long time. I wasn't angry in that loud, explosive way. I was calm. And that scared me. because calm meant clarity, and clarity meant I was done being the backup plan. I scrolled to a name I hadn't called in years, Margaret, my best friend of 40 years, the woman who knew me before I was someone's mother. My finger hovered over her name. Then I pressed call. She answered on the second ring. Linda? Honey, is everything okay? I took a slow breath. No, I said, but it's about to be. And for the first time since I woke up in that hospital bed, I smiled. Margaret didn't hesitate. That's the kind of friend she's always been. Tell me what you need, she said after I explained everything. The trips, the wheelchair, Aspen, Mason. I need to leave, I told her. There was a pause. Leave, as in visit me for a few days? She asked carefully. No, I said, leave as in, I'm done being their safety net. Margaret didn't gasp. She didn't judge. She just said, good. That one word felt like permission. Margaret lives 2 states away in Arizona, warmer weather. Single story home, no stairs. She lost her husband 5 years ago and has been telling me to visit ever since. I'll book you a medical transport van, she said. And I have the guest room. It's already set up, wheelchair accessible. What about Mason? I asked quietly. You're not leaving that baby behind with no plan, she replied. We do this right. And that's when something inside me shifted from hurt to strategy, because I wasn't going to abandon my grandson, but I was going to stop being used. The next morning, I called my attorney. Yes, attorney. 3 years ago, when Adam and Chloe moved in, I had added Adam to the house deed for convenience. At the time, it felt loving, secure, family. My lawyer had warned me, don't confuse love with legal protection, he'd said. I should have listened. But luckily, I hadn't fully transferred ownership. It was joint tenancy with specific clauses. Clauses Adam had never read. Over the phone, my attorney reviewed everything. Linda, you still control the majority share, he said. And since this is your primary residence, you can initiate a partition or force a sale. Force a sale, the house they were saving up in, the house they treated like a free hotel. I didn't feel guilt. I felt awake. That afternoon, I sat Mason beside me on the couch. Hey, buddy, I said gently. How would you feel about going on a little adventure with Grandma? His eyes lit up. Like an airplane adventure? Yes. Will Mommy and Daddy come? I swallowed. No. Just us for a little while. He thought about it, then shrugged in that 4-year-old way. As long as we have snacks. I laughed for the first time in weeks. Margaret had everything arranged within 48 hours. Medical transport would arrive Friday morning. Adam and Chloe were posting ski photos by then. Snowy mountains, champagne glasses, smiling like life was effortless. They had no idea. Thursday night, after Mason was asleep, I rolled into Adam and Chloe's bedroom. I looked around at the designer luggage, the shopping bags, the luxury watch box on the dresser. They were building a life. On my back, I left an envelope on their bed. Inside it, a letter, a copy of the legal paperwork initiating property separation, and a printed receipt for a 5-day emergency childcare facility near Aspen, already prepaid in their names. Yes, I had arranged childcare. I wasn't heartless. I had called them 2 days earlier, pretending I needed their pediatrician's info just in case. Instead, I gathered what I needed. Mason would fly to Aspen with a licensed escort service Friday afternoon. They would receive him at their resort. No warning, no discussion, no negotiation. If they were fit enough to ski, they were fit enough to parent. Friday morning arrived. The transport van pulled into the driveway at 9 a.m. I felt strangely peaceful. Margaret was on speakerphone as I packed Mason's small suitcase. You're really doing this, she said softly. Yes, I replied. I am. Before leaving, I took one last look at the house, the kitchen where I collapsed, the the hallway where Mason ran, the living room where I felt invisible, not anymore. The medical team helped me into the van. Mason climbed in beside me, holding his stuffed dinosaur. Are we going on our airplane adventure now? Yes, I smiled. As the van pulled away, I didn't cry. I didn't look back. Halfway to the airport, my phone buzzed. Text from Adam. Hey, Mom, resort Wi-Fi sucks. Mason good? I stared at the message. Then I typed, check your room when you get back. Sent. I turned off my phone. By the time Adam and Chloe returned to their suite that afternoon, they would find the envelope, the legal notice, and a call from the resort front desk informing them their son would arrive within hours. Let them feel it. Let them scramble. Let them panic. Let them experience for once what responsibility feels like when it's not convenient. As our plane lifted into the sky, Mason pressed his face against the window. Grandma, we're flying. I squeezed his little hand. Yes, we are. And for the first time in years, so was I. I turned my phone back on after we landed in Arizona, 37 missed calls, 22 texts, 5 voicemails, all from Adam, not Chloe. Adam, the first voicemail was confused. Mom, what envelope? Call me. The second one was sharper. What is this legal paperwork? What are you doing? By the fourth, I heard something I hadn't heard from my son in years. Fear. Mom, this isn't funny. The resort just told us Mason is flying here. You can't just send him. You're in a wheelchair. Exactly. I didn't respond. Margaret picked us up from the airport herself. She had a wide brim hat on and sunglasses like we were escaping a crime scene instead of family drama. She hugged me carefully. I'm proud of you, she whispered. I hadn't realized how much I needed to hear that. Her house was perfect. Single story, wide doorways, ramps already installed, a guest room with sunlight pouring in through the windows, no stairs, no tension, no entitlement, just peace. Mason adjusted quickly. Kids do. Margaret introduced him to her neighbor's grandson, and within an hour they were building sandcastles in the backyard sandbox. Meanwhile, my phone kept buzzing. Finally, that evening, I answered. Adam picked up instantly. Mom, what the hell is going on? His voice wasn't angry, it was shaken. You received the paperwork? I asked calmly. Yes, you're forcing a sale? You're splitting the property? Why would you do this? Because I'm not your retirement plan, Adam. Silence. You sent Mason here, he said. No, I corrected. I sent Mason to his parents. That's insane. We had plans. I laughed softly. Yes, you did. Chloe's voice echoed faintly in the background. Panicked. Ask her if she's serious. Ask her if she's actually moving. Adam lowered his voice. Mom, are you leaving? Yes. For how long? I don't know. That terrified him more than anything. You can't just disappear, he said. This is your home. My home, I repeated. The one where I became free childcare after a stroke? He didn't answer. You left your disabled mother alone with a 4-year-old so you could ski, I continued. Twice a year, you leave him with me so you can relax. Tell me, Adam, when was the last time I relaxed? That's not fair. No, I said quietly. It isn't. He exhaled hard. You're overreacting. That word, overreacting. I felt something cold settle inside me. When you were 8, I said, you broke your arm falling off your bike. I didn't leave your hospital bed for 3 days. That's different. Is it? He didn't respond. Instead, he shifted tactics. What do you want? There it was. Not apology, not understanding. Negotiation. I want you to grow up, I said. I want you to parent your own child. I want you to understand that I am your mother, not your employee. We never treated you like that. You treated me like I'd never leave. That landed. Because it was true. He always believed I'd stay. I could hear Mason's name being called over a loudspeaker in the background of the call. Likely the resort lobby announcing the escort service arrival. Mom? Adam said urgently. They're saying Mason's here. We weren't ready. Exactly. Then I hung up. I didn't block him. I didn't block him to stop responding. Over the next few days, the messages changed tone. Anger turned into pleading. Mom, please call. We're trying to figure things out. You can't sell the house. Where are we supposed to go? I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I called my attorney again. We moved forward with the partition filing. Officially, Adam received formal notice. Reality hit harder when it comes stamped and certified. 3 days later, I finally texted back, "You have 60 days to arrange your housing situation. I suggest using the money you've been spending on luxury trips. No cruelty, just truth." That night, Margaret poured us tea. "Do you feel guilty?" she asked gently. I thought about it. About Adam as a baby. About birthday parties. About scraped knees and science fairs. Then I thought about the wheelchair. About Aspen. About the envelope. No, I said honestly. I feel free. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for my son to choose me. He would either rise to meet responsibility or he would fall without my cushion beneath him. Either way, I was done being the soft place he landed. The house sold faster than Adam expected. Apparently, when you live in a desirable Seattle suburb and the market is still competitive, buyers don't hesitate, especially when the home is well maintained. Because despite everything, I had always maintained it. The offer came in at full asking price. Adam called me the moment he found out. "Mom, this is real," he said quietly. "Yes," I replied. "You're really not coming back?" "No." There was no anger in his voice this time, just exhaustion. Reality had done what my words couldn't. He and Chloe had to cancel their spring trip. They listed half their designer furniture online. The luxury SUV was traded for something practical. They found a modest rental, smaller than my living room. And for the first time in Mason's life, they were the ones waking up at 6 a.m. They were the ones packing lunches. They were the ones saying no to weekend getaways because babysitters cost money. Responsibility is expensive when you're not used to paying for it. 2 weeks after the sale closed, Adam asked if we could video call. I agreed. When the screen lit up, he looked different. Tired. Humbled. Mason popped into view first. "Grandma, Daddy makes bad pancakes?" I laughed. "Practice makes perfect." Adam gave a small, embarrassed smile. "We're learning," he said. That word again. Temporary had been replaced with learning. Chloe appeared behind him. No makeup. No designer outfit. Just a plain sweatshirt and honest eyes. "Linda," she said softly, "I owe you an apology." I didn't interrupt. "We got comfortable," she continued. "Too comfortable. We didn't realize how much we were leaning on you." "You didn't realize how much we were leaning on you." That part was true. People rarely realize they're standing on someone until that person steps away. Adam swallowed. "When you sent Mason to Aspen, I was furious," he admitted. But when I saw him walk through that lobby with his little backpack, his voice cracked slightly. I realized I'd made my disabled mother do airport planning because I didn't want to cancel skiing. There it was. Accountability. Not defensive, not blaming, owning it. "I should have protected you," he said quietly. "Instead, I treated you like you'd always just handle it." I held his gaze through the screen. "I raised you to be stronger than that," I said. "You did," he replied. "I forgot. We talked for almost an hour. Not about the house, not about money, about boundaries, about respect, about how love doesn't mean unlimited access." I made something very clear. "I will be Mason's grandmother," I said. "I will visit. I will help when I can, but I am no longer your backup plan." Adam nodded. "Yes, ma'am," and I could tell he meant it. 6 months passed. My therapy progressed faster in Arizona's warm weather. I moved from wheelchair to walker, from walker to cane. Margaret and I started a small community group for seniors recovering from medical setbacks. I felt useful again, not exploited, but purposeful. Adam called weekly, not for favors, just to talk. Sometimes about work, sometimes about parenting struggles, sometimes just to ask how I was feeling. Chloe started sending me recipes she was learning, simple ones, budget friendly ones. They stopped posting luxury vacation photos. Instead, I'd get pictures of backyard picnics, board games, messy pancakes, real life. One afternoon, about 8 months after I left, Adam surprised me. He flew to Arizona, alone. When he walked into Margaret's living room, he didn't look like a man expecting help. He looked like a son. He knelt in front of me. Not dramatically, not for show, just naturally. "I'm sorry," he said again, "for forgetting you're human." That hit deeper than any grand speech could have, because that's what it had been. They forgot I was human, not just mom, not just grandma, a person. A woman who once had dreams that didn't involve raising their child while they drank champagne on mountaintops. I placed my hand on his cheek. "I didn't leave to punish you," I said. "I left to save myself." He nodded. "I know." And in that moment, I realized something important. Revenge isn't always destruction. Sometimes it's removal. Sometimes the most powerful lesson you can teach someone is what life feels like without you carrying it for them. Adam didn't lose his mother. He lost his dependency. And he became a better man because of it. As for me, next month I'm visiting them. Not because they need me, but because they invited me. There's a difference. And this time when I leave, it will be my choice. Have you ever been treated like the backup plan in your own family? Tell me in the comments, what would you have done in my place? And don't forget to subscribe.
Bye. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.